Welcome to today's Explainer. So we're going to just dive right into something that almost all of us have sitting in our kitchens right now. It's something we eat all the time, but honestly, we probably haven't thought about it on a microscopic level. Yep, we're talking about the incredible everyday egg. Specifically, we're investigating the fascinating science behind egg ripeness, or, the cooking level, and how that directly impacts the amount of protein your body actually gets to use. By the end of this, we're going to find out exactly how to get the absolute maximum nutritional bang for your buck at breakfast.
Picture this. You've just crushed a really tough workout. Or maybe you're just looking to kick off your day with a solid, healthy meal. You open the fridge, grab an egg, and then what? How are you actually going to prepare it? Raw, soft-boiled, hard-boiled, or fried? Take a wild guess right now. Which of these methods do you think gives your body the most usable protein? Keep that guess in mind, because the answer might completely change the way you do breakfast tomorrow.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the raw egg myth.
To really get to the bottom of this, we have to tackle that classic fitness trope. We've all seen the movie montages, right? Rocky Balboa waking up at 4 in the morning, cracking 5 raw eggs into a glass, and just chugging them down to build massive muscles. For literally decades, this has been a total staple in the fitness world. But does the science actually back it up? Well, let's start with the baseline facts. A single standard egg contains roughly 6 to 7 grams of protein. Now, a super common misconception is that hitting an egg with heat somehow burns away or damages that protein. Actually, scratch that, it's simply not true. Whether you slurp it down raw, boil it for 10 minutes, or scramble it up in a pan, that total amount of protein, it doesn't disappear. Those 6 to 7 grams are locked in.
Okay, so you might be having a bit of a, wait, what? Moment right about now? Because if the total protein stays exactly the same no matter what we do, why are we even talking about this? Well, here is the absolutely crucial point. While the baseline protein sitting on your plate is identical, how your body digests and utilizes that protein inside your stomach is a totally different story. It really isn't about what you eat, it's about what you absorb.
Which brings us right into Section 2, the absorption gap.
This is where the story gets really interesting. The gap between what is physically in the food and what your body can actually extract from it is massive when we're talking about eggs. Get this, if you're eating raw eggs, your body is only capable of absorbing about 50 to 60% of that protein. That means you are leaving almost half of those muscle-building nutrients completely unused. But the very moment you cook those eggs, your body's absorption rate just skyrockets to an incredible 90%. So for the exact same egg, simply cooking it nearly doubles the amount of protein your muscles actually get to use. That's a huge game changer.
Let's figure out exactly why this happens in Section 3, the science of heat.
So why in the world does our digestive system struggle so badly with raw eggs but totally thrive on cooked ones? Let me introduce you to the real hero of our biological story here, heat. When you cook an egg, the heat triggers a process called denaturation. Try to imagine the proteins in a raw egg as tightly wound, super complex balls of yarn. Your digestive enzymes have an incredibly hard time getting inside those tight knots to break them apart. But when you apply heat, it causes those structures to denature, or basically unravel. It unrolls the yarn, laying it out nice and flat, so your digestive enzymes can just easily clip it up and absorb it. Heat is basically pre-digesting the egg for you.
But wait, it's not just about unraveling proteins. It's also about defeating a literal microscopic villain hiding inside the egg. In raw egg whites, there's a specific protein called ovidin. And ovidin is essentially a nutrient thief. It aggressively binds to vitamin B7, which you probably know as biotin, and it traps it so your body just can't use it. On top of that, it actively messes with your overall digestion. But here's the amazing news. Heat is ovidin's ultimate weakness. Cooking the egg completely destroys the ovidin, freeing up those vitamins and totally clearing the roadblock for your digestion.
Let's bring it all together in Section 4, which egg is best?
Armed with all this science, let's categorize these cooking methods into a quick tier list for your daily routine. Starting with raw eggs. Well, we now know the protein absorption is surprisingly low. Plus, you carry the very real risk of bacteria like salmonella. And honestly, you get zero added benefits. It's high risk, very low reward. Then we have the hard-boiled egg. This is your top-tier, maximum efficiency option. The protein absorption is at its absolute peak, it's incredibly safe from a bacterial standpoint, and because you're just boiling it in water, there are literally zero extra calories added to your plate.
But what about the middle ground? Let's compare a soft-boiled or onsen egg to a classic fried egg or an omelet. Both of these methods use heat, right? Which means both are going to give you that fantastic 90% protein absorption rate. However, soft-boiled eggs are kind of a brilliant sweet spot. The gentler heat maximizes the protein availability while still retaining some of the more delicate nutrients that getting blasted with extreme heat might diminish. Fried eggs and omelets? They definitely give you all the protein too, but you just have to remember that the oil or butter you're tossing in the pan is adding extra fat and unnecessary calories to the whole shebang.
Okay, let's wrap this up with our ultimate verdict. If you are eating eggs for health and fitness, cooked eggs are vastly superior, delivering up to 90% of the available protein. The heat from cooking actively destroys that nutrient-stealing avidin villain, and it neatly denatures the tight proteins so your stomach can easily process them. Hard and soft-boiled eggs absolutely reign supreme as the safest and most nutritionally efficient options out there. And maybe the biggest takeaway here for all the fitness enthusiasts watching, consider this myth totally busted. You absolutely do not need to drink raw eggs to hit your muscle-building goals. In fact, doing that is actively working against you.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. We've successfully cracked the code on protein absorption and finally put a decades-old fitness myth to rest. So I just want to leave you with one final practical question to chew on. Now that you're armed with all this food science, how are you going to cook your eggs tomorrow morning?